This latest report comes from a German magazine on the story we also have talked a lot about, that the U.S. has been monitoring the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, her phone conversations. So she, speaking of phone conversation, called up President Obama yesterday and was assured, apparently, that her phone was not being monitored, not right now at least.
But today, the U.S. ambassador to Germany, John Emerson, is being summoned to meet with that country's foreign minister over the allegations. What does Neil Cavuto think about all of this? You're going to find out because he's sitting right there, Senior Vice President and Managing Editor of Fox Business. Not good.
Not good. You know, I was thinking about it, though. This is another trust issue, right? The president, told her, don't worry, we're not doing this, everything's fine, we're not going after you. And then, lo and behold, we find out, well, yeah, you and your cell phone. And I think this gets to be a pattern of trust. And I'm not blaming the president, but what he says doesn't jive. It's down to, really, you can keep your doctor and you can't keep your doctor. But there's enough of a consistency to a pattern of saying one thing and realizing either you or your underlings are doing the opposite. And I think this just feeds the sort of global suspicious beast.
Hurts his credibility, you think? I mean, that's what Dave Henniger wrote about it in the Journal this morning. His op-ed was all about the president's credibility. Do you think there's been a big hit to that?
I do, Connell. I think that a lot of time when, and a lot of people say, when you're president of the United States, I assume you're busy. But I also assume that when you're in charge of something that you're very passionate about, very angry about, like in this NSA spying scandal when it came to light, or about, on the flip side, the healthcare law, and making sure your signature achievement, is shepherded properly and very, very clearly and to every detail. He's a man missing in action. And I think that feeds a sort of a narrative here that, he's just kind of out to lunch. That might not be the reality, but the perception again and again and again is you say one thing and you deliver another.
And this is more of a personal question, but doesn't he care? Because ultimately his legacy will be built largely on that very thing, his credibility and his position in the world and our position in the world when he leaves office.
Well, it's funny. We were talking about this yesterday, but I think every president has his signature thing he's passionate about, right? John Kennedy, you could argue, the space program, and he watched every launch, and every astronaut he phoned afterwards. The talk was he even wanted to be an astronaut, and given what we found out later about JFK's love life, Jackie would have welcomed him to take a rocket to space. But go ahead, don't let the screen door hit you on the way out the rocket ship. But I do think that between he and between FDR, passionate about all the big government programs he initiated, Ronald Reagan with his tax cuts, every step of the way for every one of those actions and the labyrinth they had to go through in Washington, each president was finely attuned to how it was going. And this health care law, whatever you say of it, is this president's crowning achievement. And he dropped the ball. Now, I know this is going far from the Angela Merkel thing, but if you think about it, when the NSA revelations first came out, and he even said they went overboard, and I'm going to be like stink on you-know-what with this and get to the bottom of this, and then he apparently wasn't and didn't. And I think that makes people think, wait a minute, you say one thing, you do another, you were really jazzed about this, then you're not jazzed about this. He gets the reputation for being no drama Obama, and I think there's something you said about that. You, for example, Kamala, are no drama, and you work with a guy in the morning who's extreme drama.
Who's this?
So it's fine, it's fine. But
imagine spying on his phone calls, by the way.
Oh my God, exactly. Just the clubs you could collect. But I'm just saying that if you're going to be no drama, which is fine, then you have to exhibit it in a calm and thoughtful manner and not have it veer into the aloof stage. And I think that's the fear now, that he looks aloof.
And not just aloof as looking at the administration, but less than truthful.
Well, see, that's what happens. And back to, I veered off course here. You're used to that in the morning.
Oh, trust me.
But I do think that it cuts to the core of your credibility. When the world says you say one thing and do another, you promise one thing and do another, it cuts to the core of what you're about. You could say what you will about, Ronald Reagan and whether he was a cowboy and did too much of this. People knew where he was coming from. Or John Kennedy on the space edition, where he was spending too much. They knew where he was coming from. Or FDR with big government. They knew where he was coming up from and the follow-through with each. The fact of the matter is, a president can't just propose big things. He's got to follow up on big things. And it's the little things you miss after the fact that destroy the big things.
All that was really well said.
It was.
Thanks. I thought it myself.
We're like speechless after that. We're like speechless.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go through.
What is
I'm trying to go through the day and not say ain't at least 8 times.
Thank you, Neil.
This is it?
Yeah. That's it.
He says it every time.
No. Susanna asked me to come on. I thought I was going to get the whole hour.
I wish that we could broadcast what she says in our ear now.
Oh, really?
Calm down, Sue. It's Neil Cavuto's our boss.
Yeah, exactly.
He's down all day for all he wants, right?
Leave Neil alone.
Isn't she getting married?
Yes, she is.
Is that
Sue?
still on?
Yeah.
She's great.
No gift from Neil. There you go, Sue.
She's my...
She asked me to come.
My
And this is it.
Are you going?
No, not now. No. Haven't been invited. No, I'm just saying. I think she asked me to come. Little did I know. I wouldn't have even interrupted my pre-lunch.
Gotta get a shot of the controller and see if she's blushing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
My favorite producer
Yeah, Sue
named
used to work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Sue
exactly.
worked on Neil's staff on Your World.
She
Speaking
couldn't
of
leave
which,
fast enough.
That's true.
Thanks, Neil.
That's true.
Good.